You alright with this? He's driving your car?
Yeah, please. I'm going to sell it to him tonight.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my God. Memories!
Huh? How long's it been?
A long time, more than I can remember.
No pressure. How good's that? How'd that feel?
Yeah, mate, she's same as before.
Yeah.
No
bit of suspension this time, but huh?
a little bit higher. It's easy to get out of the squad.
How good's that?
Certainly made it undrivable.
We're at a car show in Castle Hill, and I've found the original owner of this fantastic little Civic. It's Tim. Tim, thanks so much for your time, mate.
Pleasure. Thank you for having
Really
me.
an honour to have you on the show. Mate, just tell us about this car behind us now.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people think I was a nutcase doing it. Obviously, it's a Honda Civic red sedan in a manual. So I had to make it a little bit different back in the days. So I've always been into cars, and at the start, this Civic was one of the cars that I thought, I'm going to do something a little bit different to. Before I had this, I had a little Ford Capri, believe it or not, and then I went, I want to get into cars a little bit more differently. And this car here, I wanted to do something different. And then Super Tourers were a big thing back in the days, and I just love the way that the wheels sit up under the guards. So it was a start, and then I've got good mates of mine, Danny and Jimmy, who own Online Performance, and these guys can turn dreams into reality. And when you see what these guys can do, and you go, they're mechanics. And we sat down together and were drawing stuff and coming up with ideas because I wanted to get into car shows and do something different. And a saloon was something, Auto Saloon was kicking, and we thought, let's get in. And there was we've done it about 3 times, this car. So the original one, I originally was on Fast Fours in one of the magazines. It was pretty basic, and a red leather interior with a normal style interior with, I think they were 16s, which were probably pretty big at the time.
16s, tucking them up.
Yeah. and then we changed, evolved, and then just each time going to every auto salon, trying to get better and better. And we were competing against, like Brian, Mr. CRX, and all the boys back in the day. Cyber were some big boys back in the day, some amazing cars. And Danny and I said, well, how can we go to the next level? And Danny said, what, I've got an idea. Let's do the outside inside. And I go, what are you talking about? And he said, well, let's do the interior like it looks like the outside. And I didn't realise how much work was involved in it. And he said, well, we'll do it together. And it's something I don't think you could normally just do, the affordability of it, because, when you get a body kit, each piece in this side of the interior of the car has been moulded. And you've got to do the mould and the custom mould off the original interior. And with it, the amount of hours that are worked in it, because the interior comes with like a bit of a leather style pattern. So every piece of this interior had my hands where I've had to rub it back, do it flat, and the end result was pretty cool. It was a great idea, but we kind of made the car almost undrivable at that stage. But we had a lot of fun doing it, a lot of dreams doing it. But it was a lot of time, a lot of hard effort. And nowadays, to do something like this, the hours that we put on inside that interior was huge. It would cost a huge amount. And I think probably this thing probably owed me $100,000 back then. So
in what, 99 money?
yeah, 99 money. So that's a 91 Honda Civic SLI. So we changed it to a VTEC turbo. We changed the bonnet where it opens sideways. We cut out the bonnet. We had an airbrush artist come over from America, Big D.
Big D.
And Big D did a lot of work on it. And he's the coolest dude you ever coming across around. So we had really fun nights and virtually became part of the family. So I took 6 months off work to do it and stayed at Danny and Jimmy's house. How many people will let a customer, or we're now family, come in, sleep with her in the family house, feeding and doing that? But that's what it takes, you know, the commitment. And I kind of like that. That to me is more of an iconic car for me in life and what I've enjoyed. And you look back on it now, it's been a long time, and I haven't seen it in flesh for a long time. And Bill, who's bought it recently, has really kept it to the same order.
It's in beautiful condition.
It was.
You're not tempted to buy it back after driving it, are you?
My son's 17 now, so we're looking at now the next incarnation. But he thinks, Dad, why did you do a red Honda Civic? he likes Skylines.
You don't get it. You don't get it.
It's a different era and time
That's right.
period,
Well,
unfortunately.
We weren't there to go fast. It didn't, like, you know, fast was okay, but it was about
looks low rider.
around, cruising around, you know, all the fun stuff.
Look, this thing here sounds the part. At the time, you know, you look at the cars nowadays. Where can you go that fast? I like going there in a stylish way, in the look of it, and it was a funky car.
Yeah.
It was more about upping each other at each different event we went to. But yeah, opening the bonnet at the side was one of our first ones, and then after that was cutting out the hole in the bonnet and actually having the rocker cover, because most people think when they see the car that it's actually painted in on the actual car, but it's actually the real rocker cover of the car, which we've done it with the Ice style. And then Big D's airbrushed it around, looked like it's been ripped out. So that took so much time to cut out, and that's all metal. So that's an actual metal bonnet, not a fiberglass bonnet. So that was impressive, I think, that part.
New front bar.
Yep.
You've done that's all custom.
Yeah.
The inner cool piping.
So Danny had a great idea. He said, you know what, if we want cool air, let's pop the filter out the side.
And then your mate of Highway Patrol went back up.
So these are the little things that I got into a little bit of trouble from, believe it or not. Also the way the thing was sitting. But also, you know, I think, you know, you can't go past like the amount of time and effort, like we were talking about before, that interior, like the floor. I mean, in still, and this car's now, I don't know how many years, what are we, 20, 25 years? That's still as it was when it was originally done. Like and that was a lot of blood, sweat and tears. We put online in the kick panel.
And Iceboy
on the dash. Yeah, so all the little details were fun in it. But the interior really killed us. And I think, you know, our friendship a couple of times, well, good friendship, thank God, because that could have killed most friendships, that interior. Look at that, and that's still exactly the same as it was originally as well. That was our last one. And then we've still got these amps. They're called the Hyphonics amps, the US amps. Yeah, they were all the same setup. It's got a real red LED inside. We've put splits out here, so when you've got it pumped open, it shows you've got the sound coming out the back.
So were they putting, like you started seeing guys putting TV, like were there TVs around here?
Not at that time. So we would have gone, George was at Strathfield Car Radios, was an installer. He was the best installer running around at the time. And he was the hardest man to get and track down. And we found him, and the car was off-road. I think George had this for maybe about 6 to 8 months. It cost a small fortune at the time to do.
So tell me, let's go right back to the start. What did the car look like when you first bought it?
Yeah, so I bought it. It was a standard Civic. We bought it from... I bought it from a young chap that was going back to overseas. It was a Japanese young guy. It did have a little red Momo steering wheel on it, which I've still got at home. And he had a set of I forgot the wheels on it, but it just didn't work with the car, unfortunately. So then we totally started and ripped it back and started again. But yeah, it's not that normal car that you do, but now it's sitting a little bit higher than it was, but I always wanted to have the lowest car running around. With the Cabin Boys originally, which started Auto Salon, we used to go cruising when we were younger around, and Gavin Lowe was one of the originals and he had a little white hovercraft Honda Civic, and it was an amazing looking car, and it was a competition who could go lower. And then in the end, it was just a matter of street sweeping the streets in a way. But we've still got some great videos. You know, I was looking back the other day of the cruising where we'd videotape our cruises. You could do all that. We went down to Bondi. There wasn't so much police interference and headaches, and you'd sit around and all the boys, there was no trouble. we had a lot of fun, and they're all nice guys, and they're still here. A lot of the boys in it, so it's good, that crew around. So we've got a lot of friends and a lot of time, and we stuck a lot of money into it, but we've enjoyed it.
If I gave you an unlimited budget and I said I want another auto salon style car, what would you build yourself?
Nowadays, good question. Look, this is the thing I'm going through with my son at the moment, because you've got to think of budgets, right? So back in the days, you could build a good car. Like back in the days, probably a CRX was the car that was the main car you'd go with. So all you'd body kit it and you drop it and wheels it. But nowadays, the bar is so high. So, you know, where are you going with it? What are you going to do? Now with air suspension's quite amazing. So we could really hovercraft these things a lot more nowadays, really drop them down. And now with the bigger wheels, because remember, these were, I think these are 19s, but now 22, 21s, guards. Like in this car here, we flared the front guards out so you could turn it. So that's still the original metal guard that Danny clawed out and pumped it out and constantly did it. He's an artist.
Well, with a
as you start hitting it out and heating the metal, you can actually maneuver and shape that guard. Wow. So a mixture of a couple of things. Yeah, Danny and Jimmy at Online are artists. These guys aren't just mechanics. These boys are artists. So they've done the whole thing on this car with us, together with my vision and some of my blood, sweat and tears and their brain style and what they've done. It still stands up and still looks like a pretty cool car, I think.
Absolutely.
Saying that, in what we do now, I think nowadays, I like Lexuses at the minute. You know, there's a little purple one around there that was pretty dropped on it. I think you could do a bit with Lexus nowadays.
I think. IS250s, are they?
Yeah, look, I don't mind the some of the F Sport. That's an F Sport over there, but there's a two-door V8 which would be a mean car. Everyone's doing 63s, C63s. Everyone's doing BMW M3 competitions. I reckon you could do something on the Lexus side to really toughen it up.
And you get really that Toyota reliability.
And a reliability, Honda.
None of this Euro rubbish, mate.
Sorry, I'm looking the other way. I should be looking this way.
No, you look wherever you want. You're not off the hook yet. Unlimited budget, right? You've built your son a little two-door Lexus. What? They're F Sport two-door.
I think they're NC. So the new ones. We'll see. He's 17, so his first car. I think what we're doing is going to do a little, like you said originally, a little IS300, big set of wheels, drop it, bit of interior change, and you could probably get away with a decent car for a P-plater for maybe 20 grand, 25 grand, and it looks the part.
So you've built that car for your son.
Yep.
But we're talking anything, unlimited budgets. Give me your dream garage.
Unfortunately, nowadays I've moved to an older man style, and I'm probably more towards Porsche and that type of stuff. But it'll be, there's a beautiful blue GT3 over there in an RS, which is a sexy car. But how usable is it in every day, and how much money is it? 100%. You could buy a car now off the lot that you don't need to do a lot of this to. Like, you see that car standard, that's ready for track. So they're now realising and marketing products towards people and know that the evolution. Look at the cars. Now cars come out standard with 20. So you can see the evolution towards that. And because back in our days, I used to love drawing cars, and drawing them up, it was always those fat wheels, the big guards, sitting it on its ass, and it just looks fat. It looks wide. It shows the shape of that car off. And it is, and that's what we tried to do with this one, and make it look fat and wide, even though it's just a little Honda Civic. But it was tough, and it won a lot of trophies. We took it a couple of places and won a lot of trophies and had fun with it.
Did it still, when it was in this form, did it still get out on the street from time to time?
Yeah, so lucky enough, I lived in Brighton, and I had a highway patrol officer in my area that really hated me. And I've got a rear entrance. Yeah, really hated me. Like the defect. And even though my old man was in the police, it certainly didn't help in any angle. But I had to wait until that guy wasn't there to be able to get out. Otherwise, he'd do me. He would sit and wait around. But when we did, I'd had to choose my areas, because speed humps weren't our friend. But there's a certain tracks we could go on, which we had a lot of fun with. Yeah. So when people saw it out, it's like, wow, look at this thing. And it's a bit of a wankmobile. And I'm deep down in heart, we are those people.
Well, it's personality, right?
Yeah, I like to be out there and those type of things. You presenting your car.
Yeah. So tell me about, you're setting it up at the show back in the day. You turn up at Auto Salon Final Battle, and just tell us about, you see Brian roll in, and he's put a fish tank in his car. Tell me about this.
Well, yeah, so Brian, we went from a time where I think I don't know if it was, I can't remember everything, but I think I may have half upped him with the interior one, and then he's looked at it and gone, what the fuck? And then next one, he's come with a fucking fish tank in the car. So I don't know what more you can. I don't know if we go the kitchen sink in there next, but he won it and he got it. And it was like, I think sometimes you've got to realise and say, you know what, that's enough. You got this shit. So he certainly, Brian, he was a good influence in the time because that yellow CRX that he did was such an influential car. Like you're saying, you're in that time looking at all those cars. We're all influenced by people around us. And Brian certainly changed that type of, in that time period, he had everything. And then if that didn't work, he'd bring another car or he'd bring 2 other fucking things, or then he had it all. He had all areas covered. Yeah. But it was not just that, Cyber, Danny from Cyber was also a monster. Yep. There was a lot of cars out there at that time that were just different, had different feel about it. And look,
so give me, just off the top of your head, we can edit it later. I'm thinking Broken, that little green Triple S.
Green Triple S, monster.
Devious, obviously, Mr. CRX. All the Lancers with the droid kits for me. Give me a couple of, for you, your memorable cars.
Yeah, definitely. I loved the CRX. The old CRX, not the Target top CRX. I love the rear. So Danny, who built this car, he built an orange CRX, and that CRX was fat, and he created his own body kit. He didn't put it out into too many of the salons, but then Danny got more into doing the 10-second quarters and all the rest of it. So I love that. So Cyber's Danny from Cyber CRX, that was a stunning car, and he got that Harlequin paint on at the start. That was a real influential time. So Danny on my side with that orange CRX, that car was probably I enjoy that. Would have if I was going to choose a car, go with the CRX, but I had the Civic, so it was a little bit different on that side. But yeah, the at that time CRXs really had the run of the kits, so that's why it was doing something different. I'm thinking that also. What were some of the other cars out there? Was some really people went crazy for a while there, mate. It was Mr. WRX, which is similar to Brian's. Yeah, there was some fat cars at the time.
100%.
Oh man, it's unfortunately now realising and catching up for the boys here because it's been so long. I think it's been. I tried to say, has it been 15 years? It's like motherfucker, it's been by 25 years, 30 years.
That's right.
So actually, the amount of cars, because I buy cars for a living, you kind of go through it. You originally get into cars because you love it, and after a while you start to burn the enjoyment of it. So now it's coming back to me because my son's getting at that age, 17, so you get the joy back, and now this terrible addiction of going around and looking at these cars, now we might see what goes next, and he loves it. So it's a good little hobby to be in. It keeps you off the street, and it also keeps the boys, instead of playing computer games nowadays, you get in there, you actually learn how to do it. And I'm in cars. I'm a car salesman. I helped Danny build it. Now I haven't done to the degree he has, but I've gotten it. I know how to do it. I've been doing. I did all the basic jobs. I took all the skin off my fingers sanding, but we had a lot of fun doing it, and you learn, and it creates. These hobbies are a great thing to do. Yeah. And nowadays you look at it, and you look at all the cars that are out here. There's a car that will grab your attention. Is it this car? Is it that? Everyone goes. You look at a charade. You look at some of the cars out there. Why would you do that? That person loved it and made it look fat. So you can really turn anything into something lovely. The old saying, "Polish a turd." You can.
But you're making it yours.
Your baby.
You're making it unique,
the customization, and there's so much option nowadays. Like back in our days, to buy the alloys they were imported from America, and they were huge money. Nowadays, that's that you go down to Tempe Tyres and buy them for probably $1,500 a set. Plus the tyres back in those days, a tyre was $800 a tyre. Now that tyre is probably a common tyre because it's everywhere, $200. So as much as we're paying more for cars, all these other parts are coming back. Back in the days, turbo kits and all the rest were huge money imported. Now it's much more common. Much more accessibility to the world.
I love that.
So yeah, it's becoming, in a way, if you're smart, you can put together a cheap car.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy all the big stuff and all the names and go, I've got this. You can make something look good, I reckon nowadays for 25 grand, 25 grand, and be happy.
Yeah, nice cruiser.
Problem is it stops there, and then you get that, and then you go to the next incarnation, just like I did, that terrible addiction. I should have stopped at the 16s.
Start fiberglassing the interior.
And then you start, and then sound systems. I've done that 4 times. So I think they were saying this thing still got it in there, which is interesting. So it's amazing how well this is kept for this time period. So you can still, online performance, and Danny and Jimmy build cars to last.
Absolutely. Beautiful, mate. So this is part 1 with Tim. We'll go part 2 when he builds his son's Lexus.
Yeah, stay tuned. In 6 months' time, he'll make it.
Mate, but we really appreciate you sitting down with us and just
pleasure.
telling us some stories.
Lovely meeting you. No, it's good. Good being around it. Thank you very much. Nice meeting you.
Really appreciate it.